this video is going to be on the 7-year curse. I think this one's going to be a really quick one because what they're trying to tell me about it is why this happens rather than anything else. So that's what we're going to get into. Maybe we'll pull some what do fans need to know, but I don't think it's going to be that easy to pull a what do fans need to know for this one, honestly. Okay, so we have the World, we have the Four of Cups, we have the Emperor, we have the Eight of Cups, the Ten of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and then we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Temperance card, Five of Wands, Three of Cups in reverse, and the Ace of Coins, so the Ace of Pentacles. Why does this happen? Honestly, the kind of messages that I'm getting through is the reason why this happens is, like, think about it like this. You'll only know how stable a group is after so many years. And 7 years is kind of that limit, or that's what it's proving to be. You're gonna know just what didn't work out when you initially started that group, just what isn't working out when you get to that 7-year point. Those are the things that you're going to find out at that time. It's like, once this cycle is completed, that 7-year cycle, that's when you're going to really see kind of all the cogs in the machine. You know what I mean? So you're going to see what needs to change. You're going to see what leads to the downfall. You're going to be able to see all that kind of information. You're going to see if there's something that a company isn't doing right. That's when you're going to start to see everything kind of crumble there. Like, they can put up with it for a certain amount of time, but they can't keep it going for longer than that 7 years. That's when everything's going to fall apart, because that's when idols can first, that's when most idols' contracts come up for review, where they have to renew it or not. That's when most idols' contracts expire. That's when most idols get the opportunity to kind of figure out if they can keep working in this environment, or they decide this isn't it for me. I did it for this long, and I don't want to do it for any longer. That's when you're going to see idols take a stand towards the things that they don't like in their company, towards the things that they don't like, And that's kind of why these things, why it's that time limit, and why that kind of happens. You're only going to see how stable a group is after that 7 years. If they're still kicking it after that, then let's say a company misses something. That's when they're going to find out, is then when they overlooked something. That's when they're going to find out. What I mean here is, when they overlook something, I mean in the management in the management of the group. That's what I mean by when they overlook something. Bro, what? I mean, obviously, when it comes to whether or not this rings some truth, we can see why it happens for sure. But we can't say that this is something that is true. I'm not going to sit here in front of you there's nothing contractual about this in the spirit world, is what I'm saying. It just happens to work like that in the mundane world. Because in the spirit world, this is just there's certain challenges that idols face when they're in this industry. And it's those people that can carry on with this, carry through that, push through that, move through that, in order to kind of reach the success that they do. One, they're not always getting the attention that they need. Surprise, it's me again. Okay, so what I mean here is the groups themselves, those groups that don't make it through the 7 years, they don't make it past that 7 years, they don't necessarily always have the resources available for them to keep pushing through, especially when it comes to the company side. The company doesn't have the money to keep putting into this group. They're not always getting those kinds of groups that can withstand this pressure. They're not always getting the opportunity to ride this out to its full potential. Things will happen before they can get to the success that they need. Especially with what company they're in, those kinds of things. Those people that can withstand the pressure here, it's usually because they're more fortunate, if that makes sense. It's like they have more things, resources available to them. They have more opportunities than those other groups. They have more say-so than those other groups. They are in the right mind space, the right headspace to deal with those challenges and keep pushing forward. So it's definitely individual based. It's like in every single case, look at that case as an isolated incident, as an objective kind of, their situation is unique. And then you can put it all together. Okay, so what I mean by here is like every individual group themselves is like a unique case. Look at it like that, and then you can put it all together, okay? So like those groups that do make it past the 7 years, look at them like, okay, this is what their management did right. This is what their management did wrong. This is what their music does right. This is why they're stable as a group. This is why they have a place in the industry as a group. And then look at the other people who don't necessarily make it past that 7 years, and think about how they're being managed, and think about how their group sound is, and think about all these factors, and then you'll see it'll point you more in a direction of kind of what I'm like, kind of why it failed, or why it's not failing, or why they're making it past the 7 mark, or why that group isn't. Think about it like that. Because in general, it's not the same for everybody. That's what I'm getting. So only that time between, where everybody's dealing with their challenges and then that 7-year mark hits is when everybody's going to, realize if this is for them or if it's not. Some people check out earlier than that. You get what I'm saying? So the people who make it to that 7-year mark, commend them, because they earned that. It wasn't all easy, I'm telling you that. They earned it. I'm getting with the changed climate and how K-pop kind of moves right now. That's just the way it is. But it's not just the members themselves, but it's the companies. That's what I'm getting. For certain companies, this is a guarantee. But for other companies, it's different, because it's up to how much success they gain, how much notoriety they have. And that's kind of what they're fighting against. That's what they're going up against. So it's like if their numbers aren't reflecting something that the company wants to see, then it's something they let go of. It's something they're like, this isn't worth putting our time into. I mean like public notoriety here. I basically mean like it's a guarantee for certain certain companies. They feel like it's more solidified after a certain amount. Then we'll see people's popularity start to go up, their relevancy start to go up. And then for other companies, they can't wait after that 7 years, okay? It's like for those companies that feel like after 7 years, if it's still not at that relevancy, if it's still not at that popularity that we needed to, like numbers wise, then we have to let this go. With this 3 cups in reverse, it's like, it's not all fun and games. 3 cups in reverse is like, it's not all fun and games. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely certain quotas that people need to be reaching, and they're not just going to keep a group around. If they're losing money, they're losing money. So they're like, that's kind of what matters at the end of the day, is the money they're making off of this. So as far as if the 7-year curse is true, yes, but not exactly, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not exact. It just so happens that way, is what I'm saying. Like, I mean, as much as this is an experience for the idols themselves to finally do something and finally notice just what's going wrong, and if that's something they want to continue to fight through, it's the same thing for the companies themselves. They're like, okay, we're gonna give this a couple years, and if we're not seeing a return in such and such amount of time, then this is going to be something that we're gonna have to sacrifice, we're gonna have to let go of, that even if it has potential, we're not necessarily always going to go with that whole, with our passion. Despite how we feel, we're not going to just keep moving forward with this. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't do that, because some of them definitely do if they can afford to. But for those companies that, you know, can't keep it up, they have to cut their losses. And that's just the cycle. You know, that's how it goes. That's when they start losing interest too, because they're like, we haven't been seeing a return here. There's no potential here. So we're going to keep moving forward. I think it's a rare case if they do keep putting time and effort into a group that isn't getting a return for them, that isn't making a profit for them. That's for dang sure. It's like, honestly, this is when idols start to realize just what their company is about. You get what I'm saying? At this point, it's like the bushy, bright-eyed, bushy-tail kind of concept wears off for them, and they start to realize, you know, if things aren't fixed by now, then they're never going to be. And I need to put myself first. I need to feel good about what I'm doing first if I'm about to be spending my life into this. And if they don't, then they leave. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good night, day, morning, evening, and bye.